What's up, guys? This is the network back with another video, and today we are talking about how to build a debt buying business the right way, step by step, so you can actually get approved by the credit bureaus, become a data furnisher, report paid debts, help people improve their credit, and make real money doing it. This video is for educational purposes only. I'm not your lawyer or financial advisor. I'm just showing you how the system actually works so you can move smarter. If you want help setting this up or want to see the actual methods and documentation we use, message the network on Discord. That's the only place to reach out. All right, so let's get into it. Before you can buy debt and report it, you need to get licensed and compliant in your state. If you're in Florida, you'll need a Florida Consumer Collection Agency license. That means registering your business properly, getting your EIN, writing up your compliance policies, and paying the license fees. It's like your player card. Without it, you can't legally collect or even buy these portfolios in many cases. Once you have that, you want to think about certification. The gold standard is RMAI certification. It's not legally required, but it makes you look legit to creditors and sellers you're buying portfolios from, so they know you're not some backyard operation. The certification includes training in ethics, compliance, dispute management, all the things that make you a serious buyer when you're buying big portfolios from banks or brokers. This stuff matters. Now, the next phase is getting ready to report data to the credit bureaus. You're going to hear this term over and over. Metro 2 format. Metro 2 is the universal language of credit reporting. Every major bureau uses it. If you want to get in their system, you have to speak their language. So you'll need to buy the Metro 2 format manual. It's about $200 to $300, but you have to have it because that's where they spell out every single field code and data standard. No software is going to work if you don't understand the rules. You'll also need Metro 2 compatible software. Some people build their own systems if they have developers, but most people just buy software. It can cost a few hundred to a few thousand a year, depending on what you choose. There's software out there specifically designed to help you create these files and submit them securely. Now let's talk about why Metro 2 matters to you as a debt buyer. Once you buy a portfolio, you can't just tell Equifax or Experian, hey, I want to add these debts. You have to submit the data in a way their system will accept. If your data is wrong, they'll reject you. Your application will get stuck, and you'll never get your furnisher ID. So before you even apply to the bureaus, you have to prove you can create a valid Metro 2 file. That means you need a sample file, even if you don't own a portfolio. Yet you can make mock data that mimics real accounts. So for example, you'd include a test account with fields like name, address, SSN, date of birth, original creditor payment history, close date, all properly coded in Metro 2 structure. You're showing the bureaus you know how to do it. So the sample file is mandatory. You can't skip it. You'll need to submit this file to all three bureaus as part of your application. That means Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. They'll also want to see your compliance policies, your data security plan, and your dispute management process. This is because being a data furnisher means you're taking on responsibility. If you report incorrect info, you can wreck someone's credit file, so they want to see you have the processes in place to fix mistakes. And don't forget, there's an on-site or virtual inspection involved. They're going to check that your office has locked cabinets, encryption on computers, secure storage for physical files. They'll ask how you back up data and who has access to it. So you can't fake this part. You actually have to be compliant. You need a data security policy, a written dispute resolution plan, and the ability to track and respond to disputes, usually through eOscar. Once you get approved and you have your furnisher IDs, now you can actually report debts. This is where the business model gets interesting. Most people think debt buying is just collecting on unpaid accounts, but there's another play, reporting paid accounts, to help consumers improve their credit profiles. Here's how it works. You buy a debt portfolio at a discount, say for pennies on the dollar, but you focus on the accounts that are already paid, settled, or closed. You verify these accounts with a bill of sale, chain of title, and account level documentation. Then you contact the consumer and offer to reassign that paid debt to their credit profile as a positive reference, but you need their consent in writing. This is not something you can do without their agreement. You draft a debt reporting consent agreement explaining exactly what will show on their credit file, that it's marked as paid or settled, and that it may help their score or at least demonstrate good payment history. This is legal because you're not lying about the debt. You're accurately reporting that it was resolved. You're giving them the chance to show that on their credit report. So you build a system to collect these consent forms. You might use DocuSign or other e-sign tools, store them securely, and keep them for at least 5 years in case of audit or dispute. Once you have consent, you update your Metro 2 data file with the right status codes like paid, previously resolved, settled, closed account, satisfied, positive reference only. You also need to make sure you don't re-age the debt. That means you keep the original account open date in the file. You can't make it look like a new account. That would be illegal and get you banned from the bureaus. Then you submit that Metro 2 file monthly via secure SFTP connections to the credit bureaus. This is a technical process. You'll set up accounts with each bureau and get encryption keys and use an SFTP client to send the files. Every month, you'll want to audit your submissions, make sure the data is accurate. Confirm consumer consent records are in order and be ready to respond to disputes within 30 days per FCRA requirements using eOscar. If someone disputes the account, you have to verify it by checking your documentation. If it's valid, you can respond with confirmation. If there's an error, you submit a correction or even a deletion to keep your reporting accurate. All of this requires discipline and good record keeping. You'll want to use cloud storage with encryption backups, role-based access controls, strong passwords, and MFA for your team. Now let's talk about buying the actual debt portfolios. This is where people get scammed if they're not careful. You want to buy only from reputable sources, verified brokers, or direct from banks and creditors. Look for documentation every time: bill of sale, chain of title, and account level documentation. If you're missing any of these, you can't legally prove ownership and you won't be able to report the debt to the bureaus. Be wary of time-barred debts in Florida. You're looking at a 4 to 5 year statute of limitations. If it's older than that, you can't collect it and you can't report it without consumer consent. That's why you do sample testing of the portfolio before buying. You check 10 to 20% of accounts for accuracy, ownership history, payment status. You can use credit bureau reports to cross-check this data. Always include a refund or replacement clause in your purchase agreements, so if you find invalid accounts, you can get your money back or swap them out. The real power move is reassigning these paid debts with consent, because you're not chasing people for money. You're offering them a service, helping them improve their credit while making your margin on the portfolio you bought cheap. This model avoids collections, headaches, lawsuits, and angry consumers. You're actually building goodwill and repeat business. People will come back to you or refer others when they see it works. And once you get the system down, you can scale. You can partner with credit repair companies or lenders who want to help their clients. You can build direct relationships with banks to buy fresher portfolios. You can even offer to manage reporting for other furnishers once you're set up. But none of this happens if you don't get the compliance right. That's the key to playing in this space long term. So to wrap it all up, if you want to do this seriously, here's what you need. Register your business, get your licensing, and if possible, get certified. Buy the Metro 2 manual and software and learn to use it. Draft strong compliance policies for disputes, data security, and consumer consent. Set up secure data storage and transmission, or create your sample Metro 2 file and get approved by the bureaus. Buy debt carefully with full documentation. Contact consumers professionally and get their signed consent. Report accurately every month and respond to disputes quickly. That's the system. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme, but if you build it right, it's a real business with recurring revenue and a positive impact on the people you help. If you want to see the real templates, consent forms, purchase agreements, or you want step-by-step help getting your Metro 2 system set up, message the network on Discord. That's the only place we're doing this. No Telegram, no other platforms. If you want to see exactly how the pieces fit together and avoid the mistakes that get people banned from credit bureaus or sued by regulators, you have to get granular about every phase of the process. So let's keep going deeper into each step. After you're set up with your licensing and compliance, you have to really understand Metro 2, because this is where almost everyone hits a wall. Metro 2 isn't just some simple Excel file you upload. It's a highly structured text file where every field has to be in exactly the right character position with the right codes. If you're off by even a single character, the bureaus will reject your submission. For example, the base segment contains the core account information: name, SSN, date of birth, address, account number, open date, close date, payment status. All of that has to be precise. If you're reporting a paid debt, you have to use the correct status code, like 13 for paid or closed account, or special codes indicating it was settled or satisfied. You also have to code the compliance condition codes properly if the account was involved in bankruptcy or a dispute. And the reason you have to get this right is that the bureaus don't want bad data entering the system that can destroy someone's credit file. Think about it. If you report an account as charged off when it was really paid, you're hurting the consumer and opening yourself up to lawsuits under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So before you ever go live, you need to practice creating sample files. You should generate at least 10 to 20 test accounts with realistic data, names, SSNs, dates, payment history, and run them through your Metro 2 software, then validate those files against the bureau requirements. Some software tools have a validator function that flags errors line by line. If you skip this step, you're almost guaranteed to get rejected when you apply as a data furnisher. Now, once your Metro 2 test files are accepted by all 3 bureaus, you get your furnisher IDs. Those IDs are like your access keys. They let you start submitting live data on a monthly basis. This is where your system has to be locked down. Every month, you'll prepare your files, usually in the first few days of the month. Then use SFTP to transmit them securely to each bureau. If you're reporting hundreds or thousands of accounts, you'll want to automate as much of that process as possible to avoid manual errors. Next, let's talk more about buying portfolios, because that's a critical point. Most of the portfolios you'll see advertised on marketplaces are secondary or tertiary paper. That means older debts that have been sold and resold, sometimes multiple times. This is why the chain of title is so important. If you don't have a clear chain showing every sale and transfer, you may not have legal authority to report or collect on those debts. So here's how you verify a portfolio before you buy it. 1, you get the bill of sale showing the seller owns the portfolio. 2, you get the chain of title listing every prior owner in sequence. 3, you get account level documentation, ALD, which includes the original creditor's records, account statements, payment history, charge-off date, consumer information. Before you sign anything, you take a sample, usually 10% or more of the accounts, and you cross-check them against credit bureau records or use a data vendor like LexisNexis to confirm that the information matches what the consumer file actually says. So you're looking for things like, does the name match? Does the SSN match? Is the account balance correct? Was the account really charged off or was it paid? If you skip this step, you risk buying a portfolio full of garbage, accounts that are too old to collect, already paid, in bankruptcy, or outright fraudulent. Once you're satisfied the data is clean, you sign the purchase agreement, but you always include a refund or replacement clause. This clause is non-negotiable. If you find invalid accounts later, you can get them replaced or get a refund for those accounts. If a seller refuses to include this clause, you walk away. After you own the debt, you have two options. One is the traditional collection route, trying to collect payment, but that comes with regulatory risk and consumer hostility. The other is what more sophisticated buyers are doing now, which is reassigning paid debts as positive credit references. Let's get into the details of that because it's a big opportunity. First, you identify the subset of your portfolio that was paid in full or settled accounts with a zero balance. You verify those records and confirm the status. Then you contact the consumer. You have to do this carefully and compliantly. You explain that the account was previously resolved, that you now own the record, and that you're offering to report it as a positive reference on their credit file, but only with their consent. You send them a debt reporting consent agreement. This is a legal document stating the debt was previously resolved. They are voluntarily consenting to have it reported as a positive closed account. They understand it may improve or have no impact on their scores. They sign that agreement. You archive it securely for at least 5 years. Then you prepare your Metro 2 submission with the appropriate status codes and submit it just like any other report. This approach does two things. It creates revenue streams without chasing payments, and it helps consumers improve their credit, which builds goodwill and referrals over time. But to pull this off, you have to have a bulletproof compliance process. That means secure storage for every consent agreement, a system to track which accounts were reported and when, a process to handle disputes under the FCRA, a designated compliance officer or at least someone responsible for logging and resolving issues. If a consumer disputes the account, you have 30 days to investigate. You'll review your consent form, check the documentation, and either confirm, correct, or delete the account, reporting. You respond via eOscar, which is the dispute resolution platform all furnishers are required to use. This is not optional. If you don't respond to disputes, you risk fines and permanent termination of your furnisher access. Now let's go deeper into data security because this is the #1 thing bureaus look at in inspections. You need to have the physical security, locked file cabinets, alarm systems, visitor logs, digital security, full disk encryption firewalls, antivirus, MFA, strong passwords, access controls, role-based permissions so only authorized employees can see sensitive data, secure file transmission, SFTP with encryption keys, retention policies, how long you keep data, and how you destroy it when it's no longer needed. Most people skip writing these policies, but they're mandatory. When you apply as a data furnisher, you will be asked to submit your data security policy and dispute resolution policy in writing. Another piece of this business is ongoing audits every month. You should review your reporting data to check for errors, reconcile your Metro 2 files with your consent records, and log any disputes and resolutions. This keeps you clean with regulators and shows the bureaus you take compliance seriously. Let's talk about scaling. Once you get your process dialed in, you can buy larger portfolios because your data pipeline is proven. Offer white label reporting services for other furnishers who don't want to do the setup themselves. Partner with credit repair companies who have clients needing positive references. Build relationships with banks and lenders to get access to fresher debt portfolios. This is where the business moves from just flipping old accounts to building a platform that supports multiple revenue streams, reporting, managing compliance, and even providing consumer education. If you want to do this, you need to think long term. It's not about grabbing one quick batch of debt and trying to collect. It's about building a system that can survive audits, disputes, and regulatory changes over years, not months. So to recap, here are the critical steps you can't skip. Get your business licensed and, if possible, certified. Buy the Metro 2 manual and software and learn it. Draft complete compliance policies. Data security dispute resolution consent tracking. Set up secure storage and SFTP for file transmission. Create and validate sample Metro 2 files. Apply to each bureau and pass their inspection. Buy debt with full documentation and verify every detail. Get signed consumer consent before reporting any paid account. Submit monthly Metro 2 reports accurately. Respond to every dispute within 30 days. Audit your process every month and improve where needed. If you want to see real examples of consent forms, purchase agreements, refund clauses, or need help configuring your Metro 2 system step-by-step, message the network on Discord. That's where we provide templates and direct assistance. This is the network. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.